Your Excellencies, Your Graces, dear friends, brothers and sisters, we are here because we believe that we can contribute to the hope of human beings who are in desperate need of hope. And as churches, as Christians, we believe that faith actually basically is hope. Some days ago we had a German visitor in this room, Professor Jürgen Moltmann, who is almost 90 years old, and who developed his theology of hope. And it was published in 1964, but it came out of his own experience of being deprived his freedom as a prisoner of war, but also as a prisoner of history. He developed his theology of hope, and it became a solid impulse for the work of the ecumenical movement and the World Council of Churches. Both this and many other impulses again. And when he worked together with us again, we discussed, would you say something different now, all these years after? And he said, no, I wouldn't change anything. And my conclusion of the day was that there is as much need in 2016 of a theology of hope as it was in 1964. But we are not only working together as churches, we work together as human beings with partners like we have the honor to have with us today, UNICEF, UNFPA, UNHCR, many other institutions and organizations present in the room, to try to give this hope a very tangible and a realistic background. Hope is both to be able to envisage that things can change, that transformation is possible, but it's also the actions to make it happen. We have learned already this morning how the refugee crisis in Europe is both a crisis for the refugees coming to Europe or wanting to come to Europe, but it's also a crisis of how Europe is handling this situation. It's a crisis of how can this be coordinated, or how is it not coordinated in the way that is necessary to handle a situation like this. I think we even can say that it is a crisis that challenges what somebody would call the soul of Europe. What are really the values we share, those of us who are Europeans, and what are the values many expect Europe to be sharing with the rest of the world, as it has been over many years, a deep respect for democracy, human rights, human dignity, and willingness to be hospitable, generous, and offer what is needed to the others. We do so in a situation where we, next week in Geneva, hopefully, will see the beginning of Geneva III, a new conference about peace for the people of Syria. This is a very important dimension to the discussion we have today. Without a peace process, there and in other conflicts of the world, we will never be able to address these situations we are discussing today. Not only that, we also have Paris, the conference in Paris just behind us. We know that many are having to leave their homes and their livelihoods because there is no sustainability in the future of living there. This adds to the whole picture we have to keep in mind. We could add much more. Let me, at this point, say that we also see signs of hope. We see signs of hope in how the civil society, and I would say what we with honor call the ordinary people, do to respond to the situation of others in need. I've seen civilians, volunteers at the border between Greece and Serbia offering very basic provisions for those who are waiting for a train to take them through Serbia. I saw a family like my son's family with 2 small children from Homs carrying whatever they brought with them in one rucksack, in the mud, in the rain, asking them, "Where are you heading?" The answer was Germany. You could see the hope in their eyes that there was something they could believe in that would make their lives different. We have seen also the sign of hope that responsible politicians in Europe, for example, and particularly Chancellor Angela Merkel in Germany, has shown that it is a duty, but also a possibility for those in power to take this situation and make a difference, make a huge difference, to make what is hopeless into signs of hope, but also to manage this in politics and in attitudes. Therefore, we are particularly joyful and thankful that even if she could not come, that she offered the time of Minister of Interior, Thomas Mathier, to be with us this morning and to share with us reflections about how to handle this situation, both in Germany but also internationally in Europe and beyond that. In our times, we can all Google the personalia of anybody, so I would not bother you with that. But I think it's important for us to be aware of that Dr. Mathier is the Minister of Interior in this government since 2009. That's according to my information. But you're also responsible for defense. That's not correct. That's correct. Used to be. What is very interesting for us is also to know that you are a member of the Presidium of the German Kirchentag, which is an event I gladly participate in every time when it happens. We invite you as a person who is in the middle of what is demanding for politicians, but also particularly for people who have to find ways to organize this reality day by day. We also invite you as a man of courage and also a man of faith to be with us and discuss these issues as we try to face them, as we try to give a contribution to a new level of collaboration, both internationally but also between the different sectors of society. We see that this crisis has to be addressed in a very realistic way, knowing what it is, knowing what is demanded, but also realistic in the sense that we all have to contribute to give true signs of hope. So, Dr. Messier.